If you are a working professional, I think you will have too many issues of preparing for CAT exam. There is no time, your boss is bad, the commute is long, and you hardly get time to really prepare for it. But one thing is obvious, that you want to crack CAT, get into the IIMs, Excels, FMSs of the world. How do you get there? Is there a magic wand that can get you to crack this CAT exam while working really hard? In this special series of CAT from Careers 360, I'm going to take you through what if you are a working professional but want to crack CAT and there are impediments that you want to overcome. There is no straightforward answer for that. There is no easy way, but if you can do certain things very consistently, and you don't even really have to prepare 8 hours a day or 7 hours a day. It is not a job. It's a very easy aptitude exam. You can crack this CAT exam. Now, before I talk about what should you do if you're a working professional, one very good news to you, and a real good news over the last 10-12 years, and especially in the last 3-4 years. If you are a working professional, you are preferred at the IIMs. The more work experience you have, the chances are your chance of getting into the holy portals of IIM becomes brighter. There used to be a time, my time maybe a lot long, 28-30 years back, when if you're a fresher it was easy to get into an IIM. Now it is far more difficult. And hence here is what I'm saying. Don't despair. If you are a working professional, consider this as your strength. But that strength can go completely bad if you don't use your time well. So here is what we look at: principles of cracking this exam called CAT. First, what is our goal? The goal is to crack this exam. But what are the challenges? That we have very limited time, we get fatigued very easily, and we have a routine which is not the routine for a job, not necessarily a routine for preparation for CAT exam. And hence, this is what I'm going to give you a guidance. How do you use your time efficiently? What is smart planning? And lastly, how do you maintain consistency? Let's start with a weekday strategy. Monday to Friday. What is it that one can do 5 days a week? I'm assuming that Saturday, Sundays are holidays for you. Those of you who are working 6 days a week, yeah, it is a little tough, but let's make it Monday to Saturday for you and continue doing that. But the fact is, okay, most of us have Monday to Friday working. What can best be done in these 5 days? First, can you commit 2 to 3 hours per day? Before work or after work? It could be 1 hour before work, 1 hour after work. Get up early in the morning at 5 o'clock, 5 to 6 or 5 to 6:30 you work. That's 1.5 hours. And somewhere when you are during work, you can do an RC or vocabulary, etc. kind of things. Maybe 15-20 minutes post lunch, at the time of your tea, etc. kind of things. For the time you are preparing for this exam called CAT, I think there should be a word, I call it in Hindi, called junoon. You need to have that junoon, that absolute passion to be able to crack this. For example, you can look at early morning or late evening 1 to 2 hours. Like I said, in the morning 5 to 6:30, or it could be late. Let's say you come back home maybe 7:30, take rest, etc. 9 to 11 you put in nothing else but CAT. Forget about your Instagram, forget about your messages, calls to your girlfriends, boyfriends, or for that matter to your parents also, except for a hi, hello, bye kind of thing. But make sure that 1 to 2 hours is focused on early morning or late evening for either QA or DILR. This is for the weekdays. While you are commuting, if you are going in a quick ride, you're going in a cab, you're going in a bus, you're going in a metro, whatever, this is the time, 15, 20, 30, whatever time you have, focus on vocabulary and reading comprehension. Maybe reading the newspaper that day, or taking an aeons.co essays and reading one essay of 15 minutes. consistently, continuously, and later on, closer to the CAT exam, you can pick up the CAT originals and read one RC and solve one RC in that 10 minutes kind of things, because you don't have more than 8-10 minutes for anyway one RC in the actual CAT exam. If possible, and ideally, if morning you're getting and spending 1.5 hour kind of things, there's no preparation that you can do, maybe a 40-minute sectional test in the evening. Even if you can't do all 6 days, can you do 2-3 days out of the 5 days? Oh, sorry, all 5 days. Can you do 2-3 days among those 5 days? Maybe 2 days, 2 sectionals. Maybe the rest of the time practice some 10 questions of quant. Give very, a little time. You don't have to give 4 hours. 30 minutes you have. You say in 30 minutes, let me solve 10 questions. It could be from time, speed and distance, it could be from quadratic equations, it could be from any other topic that you wanted to prepare, but you need to play. I'll tell you how to plan that also. The most important tip is choose the study slot where you are most alert. Because when you are improving something, when you are trying to learn something, you need to be at your highest alert. There are people who are early risers, there are people who are late sleepers. Depending on who you are, pick up that slot and spend that 1.5 or 2 hours. The extra 1 hour is what your vocabulary, commute, reading, etc. kind of things is. What is the weekend strategy then, Saturday, Sunday? Here is what. Weekends are for intensive practice. If you have 2 days, great so. For example, Saturday, revise all that you have done for the last 5 days. One more time. Because you don't want to forget it. Solve at least one sectional test, maybe a weak area that you have. But more importantly, analyze every time you do a sectional test. Now you might have missed out analyzing what the sectional test that you have taken in the weekdays. Use the time on a Saturday to analyze. Again, here I expect you to spend about 4 to 5 hours, not more than that. Don't have to leave your normal life also, but give more time because this is intensive practice. Sunday, probably the most important day as far as I'm concerned. The CAT exam is going to be on a Sunday. So without any doubt, I believe that if you are a working professional, you need to use your Sunday for writing a full mock CAT. Full 2 hours. Ideally, the time that you should write is the timing that the CAT gives, 9 to 11 or 1 to 3 or 4:30 to 6:30 or whatever the times exactly the CAT slots are. The day you get your, let's say typically at the end of October, you get your slot. You will get your final slot exam, the timing, etc. kind of things. So the whole of November, you will write your mocks exactly at the same time as your original CAT slot is. It's a habit that you need to form. And more importantly, make sure that you fully do an analysis of the mock. Last, before you end your Sunday, decide your next week schedule. That means what will you do for the 5 days, weekdays that is. What is the practice that you do? What is the sectional test that you do? Keep that ready before you end your weekend. Do this. Let's say you have 12 weekends. Do this for 12 weekends. That's more than sufficient. You have 15 weekends, do it for 15 weekends. You have only 5 weekends, do it for 5 weekends. What I'm trying to say is, whatever time, the time available for your CAT exam should be with complete passion, complete focus, complete energy, and more importantly, consistency. One basic tip always, plan ahead as per schedule. It is important. What are the key elements of your preparation? One, concepts and clarity. So the 5 days, weekdays that you have, you are spending more time on concepts and clarity. All topics, especially QA, have to be done at least once. Take slip tests within a section, within a topic, sectional tests to get your speeds. Mock CATs is for improving your strategy and discipline of that utilizing. You know, there are some videos that I have done for VARC, for DILR, etc., where I said there is something called a stop loss. You started doing a set in DI. You're not getting it. What do? You need to, stop your loss. 7 minutes, 8 minutes. In finance, that is called stop loss for a stock. You will have to do that here also. There is no choice. But how will you know whether you will be able to do that or not? That is where a mock comes into picture. When you are writing a mock, whether you are, all theory is fine, practically, are you able to actually implement it? That's going to be very important. After every mock, analyze the weak areas. Build on your strengths. The practice in the weekdays could be on your strengths and or sometimes on your weaknesses. Some area is very weak but that's an important area. Let's say quadratic equations. You're not getting marks. It's a very important area. There is no doubt about it. So what do you do in the week that you have after the mock? Focus on that quadratic equations for one more mock. Here is a small tidbit of understanding. Let's say you have 10 weeks to go. Look at the most important topics in Quant. I'm just giving you Quant for a moment. It could be for DI, it could be for anything else. For Quant, the most important areas probably are ratio proportion variation, percentage profit and loss, averages mixtures allegation, time and work, time, speed and distance. Then you can have quadratic equations, sequence and series or progressions as we call them, or it could be your indices and logs, or it could be permutations and combinations. So I've just counted 9, 10 topics. So now just think about it. You have 10 weeks to prepare, plan your preparation. Every weekend you are writing a mock, and in the weekdays, 5 days a week, you have 1 hour, 1.5 hour per day within that week to spend time on. Take each area like this, solve maybe 20 questions in that area. Just think about it for 1 week. Let's take an area called time and work. You can be assured that there will be 1 or 2 questions minimum in the CAT exam. That's 6 marks. So let's say you have 1 week where you are focusing only on time and work. 5 days in between. Let's say out of these 5 days you do 2 days of or 3 days of quantitative ability. That 1.5 hour that I talked about in the little while back. So 1.5 hour for 2 days or 3 days. That means you have 3 hours to 4.5 hours. Per hour you do even 20 questions. For 4 hours you do 80 questions of time and work. Where will you do it from? From the mocks that you have already done, or from the CAT original papers, or from any of the books that you have. But 80 questions of time and work you solve in a week, and then you write the next mock exam, chances are that any question in time and work, you will be able to crack it. Add that to for the next 9 more weeks for 9 more topics. There is no way you can't become better in quantitative ability. Add the same thing for your verbal, for example, for data interpretation, logical reasoning also. Let's say games and tournaments come in. I said you need to spend 1 hour or 1.5 hour per day, I said. Of this 5 days, let's say you do 2 days data interpretation. Instead of doing randomly anything, pick up games and tournaments only. Do 2 sets or 3 sets per day. Do it for 3 days. 9 sets you will do. 9 games and tournament sets before you go to the next Sunday, after one Sunday. You will be very, very strong in it by the time you go to the next Sunday. And if there is a set on games and tournaments in that mock, you will most probably be able to crack it faster. Not only crack it, but crack it faster. That is the beauty of building your strength. And sometimes you want to, let's say you are bad in algebra. Within algebra, you are bad in quadratic equations. You will build the strength one day. So 10 weeks, 12 weeks that you have, 14 weeks if you have, even better. But 10 weeks if you have, more than sufficient to improve area by area. One single tip. Take stock of your preparation every 15 days to figure out whether your journey is going the correct way or not. One area is to balance, and let's look at how not to burn out. This is something which happens because there is obviously going to be pressure when you are working. Time management is very, very important. All topics to be done at least once, even if you are not expert in all the areas. Because if there is an easy question, you should be able to crack it. In my video where I talked about test taking strategies. Please find out in Careers 360, subscribe to this. You will find one test taking strategies. You will understand why I am saying that every quant section, every quant topic, every quant formula, you have to know, whether or not that comes in the exam. But if there is an easy question and you know the formula, you can just apply. There needs to be a work-life balance. I'm not saying get out of your work life and forget about everything else that you know to do. Continue to network. This is important. According to me, always work with somebody who is already also preparing for CAT. It helps. If 2 of you or 3 of you are working together, preparing together, you kind of can egg each other, support each other. And more importantly, you'll understand whether you're doing better or worse than the rest of them. But don't compare. That will be very bad. But more importantly, take that as a kind of encouragement when everybody does. Because doing it alone is not easy. Doing it alone is not easy. Take care of your mental health. This is important. If you're feeling that you are too stressed out, take a break for a day or two. Maybe even for 4 or 5 days, don't touch the paper. That's okay. That's absolutely okay once in a while. Because the more pressure you keep on your mental state, the less scores that you'll get. Remember those mocks where you went into the exam hall or when you started writing the mock without any preparation, without any expectation probably, and you got more marks. And those mocks, and remember those days where you wrote a mock thinking that aaj mujhe crack karna hai, today I have to crack this, and what happened? You got more mistakes than you ever thought. That gives you stress. Keep mental health very, very important. For that, I would say eat healthy, walk every day if you can. It really, really helps. Very few quickly on each of the individual sections. VARC, build vocab sheets, daily 10 to 15 minutes reading at least. RC practice to be done. DILR, have to have all familiarity of all types of sets. Practice from original CAT papers. QA, make formula sheets for each of the topics. Slip tests for your speed. Prioritize your strengths because that is going to give you final marks. One important tip. Don't avoid any section. This is something I'm going to repeat again. You are a working professional, you think you are good in one area, you are focusing on the other 2 areas only, or maybe good in 2 areas and focusing on 1 area only. I think that's a very big no. Yes, focus more on an area which you are not good at. Like for example, if you are comfortable with VARC, do focus on DILR and Quant more. You are comfortable with Quant, do focus on VARC or DILR more. But make sure that the cycle every week continues with all 3 sections touched. It's extremely, extremely important. It doesn't matter. Remember one thing that I said in the very beginning of this video. If you are a working professional, you have a higher chance of cracking, not just cracking CAT, getting into an IIM than a non-working professional or a person without work experience. That's the way the IIMs, Excels, FMSs, SPJs, everybody is giving more weightage to that. Make the best use out of this kind of a extra weightage that you are being provided as a working professional. And I think also you will be appreciating this entire MBA journey of 2 years much better if you have worked. But for that, you need to put in right effort. The last tips, mock CATs, 1 per week minimum. Increase the mocks in the last 30-40 days for sure. Maybe 1 in 3 days, 1 in 4 days at least. Don't forget to analyze every mock, whether it's the strategy side or the question side. I don't think there is more important or there is any other word which is more important than this word called consistency. It doesn't matter whether you're getting scores or not, it doesn't matter whether you are solving questions or not, it doesn't matter whether you're getting good percentiles or not, but if there is one tip, one single tip that I'll tell you, turn up every day to prepare. Open your book every day to prepare. Be consistent. This will the only thing is don't overdo it. overdoing it is kind of, before you go to the CAT exam, you will kind of feel very, very overwhelmed. Try to avoid burnout. Take breaks if you can, if you need be. Take breaks, no problems. Don't feel guilty about taking breaks. If there is a Dashera coming up, enjoy Dashera, puja, pandals, go to the pandals, enjoy. If there is a Diwali coming up, make sure that you use the Diwali well, rather than thinking that, oh, I have my Diwali, I have to kind of prepare or study for 8 hours. No, it doesn't matter. You have to work on that. More importantly, stop comparing yourself with others. It's your journey. You know what scores are required. If there are 204 marks in the CAT paper, if you can get 90 to 100 marks, you will make your 95 to 99 to 99.5 percentile, whether you like it or not, whether anybody else likes it or not, for that matter. So by comparing what others are doing, it's not going to help. Use the comparison positively, but not ever negatively. You're at 30 score, look at how to go to 40. If you're at a 40 score, look at how to go to 50. If you're 50, how to go to 60. Don't think about 100 and saying that, oh, I'm not going to get there. And if you think that somebody else has prepared for 1.5 years and therefore they are at a better advantage, perish the thought. That is not true. If they would have got it, they would have got it. That is their problem. It's not one single gold medal, right? There are so many seats. You need just one seat in one IIM. And if the top 6 IIMs or 7 IIMs, all the merrier for that. The most important thing, before I kind of leave in this video, is belief. I said this before in one of the videos and I'm saying this again. You will have to believe that you can make it. It's not like, once again, Mohammad Siraj using believe as the word to go and win the match at the Oval in the England Test series. You will have to really, really believe. It is easier said than done. Close your eyes, tell yourself, I will do this. I can do this. Rather than asking, can I do this? You should always say, I can do this. That is the belief that we're talking about. And at Careers 360, we are consistently coming out with preparation material. There is a practice series, chapter-wise MCQs of VARC, DILR, Quant. There is a CAT 20 full mock test series with explanations, and a practice series with all the CAT, the last 10 years CAT papers with solutions. Do subscribe to it. Make sure that your preparation is absolutely top class. Until the next video, thank you.